Hello to all the amazing queer superheroes out there, and welcome to yet another episode of the Queer Superhero Show with myself, MonD, the queer superhero. Listen, history has always tried to erase us, and very often, we tend to try and find our world in this kind of society that we're constantly living in. But in our time, particularly in South Africa, back in the days, there were some people who were very brave and quite resilient and stood out for me in a way in which that I felt I could not move forward without having to acknowledge these people, because they've played a huge role in who I am as a person today. So my guest today is somebody who is truly so instrumental in my life, a multi-award-winning artist, a musician, a dancer, an amazing, brilliant human being, Diva Yaniti, the star, the only ones, Amstel.
Thank you, darling.
How are you, my
I'm super fabulous in yourself.
You don't understand how happy I am for this moment.
When I have no idea.
Yo, like I can sort of because I'm just like. What's like, oh, you guys
understand that?
This season we're going in, people, and this is it. Literally, this is it.
Okay.
So listen, on our show, it's so important for us to always ask people how they identify and what their pronouns are. Because we're living in a generation where now it's very important how people identify, and it's very important for how people want to be addressed. So I often start off my conversations by saying, hi everybody, I'm MonD, I identify as queer, and my pronouns are they and them. So, Amstel, how do you identify and what are your pronouns?
I'm a he and I'm a gay man. That's me.
Yes.
The lipstick, the makeup, the nails, it's just the looks, but I identify as a gay man.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. I love that so much because it just really opens up a lot of conversation.
Exactly, and it's very important because in most cases and times, looks can be deceiving. That's why it's very important to ask people about their pronouns.
Yes.
Because when you see the lipstick, the makeup, the nails, automatically you're thinking whatever you're thinking.
Yes, very true. You already have these ideas just because of how somebody presents themselves.
Yes.
It's very important to ask. I love that. Thank you so much for acknowledging that. I really want to go back to the very beginning of your particular experience, from the early ages when you first discovered or became aware of the fact that this is how you identified. Like, when you're like maybe it was 7, people really, and I ask this question because very often people think, oh, this thing is just like that. You just come up when you're 16, maybe you're confused, you're influenced by other people.
Yeah.
But I want us to go back to those earlier stages where we became aware of our particular identities.
Okay. Obviously, yes, I was very young, I was confused.
Yes.
I knew that there was something very unique about me, not different from other boys, you know. I was very active in terms of, being on the girly side of things, like from the games, Budiketo, Gusha, and all that. And I've always been an open book, because when you are young, you're just free, you know. But there comes a point when you realize that, you know what, I'm actually doing things quite different from the other boys, you know. What am I, like trying to get an identity. And then also you get that from the people when they start calling you names. Like where I come from in my township, there was this term, trasi. Trasi. It's like, you know. And you have questions about what this trasi is. And some will just say, trasi is a person who's got 2 sexual organs. And you know that you don't have those two
Those two organs that they're talking about.
You know? And still you are in that box because the way they used to talk about trasi is like you're not part of the society.
Like you're
like
kind of
a
alien.
joke. You're an alien coming from another nation, you know. So, but I realized when time went on that, okay, I'm gay. And it's okay to be gay, you know. That's when you start accepting yourself and knowing that this is who you are. And immediately when you start loving yourself and accepting yourself, everything else is like,
it's like the past. We are gone, child. Those are history.
know.
You don't care about anyone anymore because it's like, I call it, on this show, we really call it discovering your superpower.
Nje.
It's like you literally are just like, I'm within my power.
You know?
I'm untouchable. Nobody can touch me.
Bona.
Wow, that's a beautiful feeling. I mean, at that moment, who were one of the earliest peoples that you shared that with when you discovered, no man, no, I'm a gay man, I'm in it. So and obviously, yes, from an early age, people were always teasing us and identifying it as that we're in somewhat different or anything like that. But I think it was that moment where we now found it within ourselves to say, this is what I am, and I accept it for myself. And who were those people that you shared that with and be like, you know what, Auntie Bona, man, who saw, and this is me.
My grandmother.
Oh, you love
my grandmother. My grandmother had a friend. He was staying in the same street with me. His name was Petros. So Petros nearly very flamboyant, and, you know. So whenever Petros was walking down the streets, like everybody will come out because he had this entourage of the queer, you know, gay boys, and they were very flamboyant and very free during that time. So when
which year was this?
I was still very young. I think it was around 91, 92, you can imagine.
91.
Yes.
No ways. That is shocking to me.
So like people will come out of the houses because now Petros was entering the streets with his entourage. Like everybody will literally come to the gate and like they will be screaming. It was like a Guy Fawkes or something. And then knowing that you identify and you are just like that person.
Yes.
And the way people are reacting, then it was not easy because now you are in this box thinking that I am like this, and is this how people are
going to react around
Oh, I understand that.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was not a nice feeling because the way they were reacting, it was not good at all, you know. And so it was my grandmother, and I remember she said to me, I did something, and she said, Upitros, wait.
Yeah.
Then I kept quiet, and deep down inside I was like, oh, okay, she can notice, you know. And she loved me so much. Like most of the things that I am today, she actually told me about.
Wow.
She saw so many things.
Foresight. Maybe it's a foresight.
Yeah,
you know, when
she
somebody
saw so many things in me that are happening and that I have tend to be today, you know. Also, my younger sister, I remember the other day we were coming from school. And out of nowhere, she's like, Amstel, what kind of a guy do you like? But I didn't hesitate to answer her. Immediately, I was on her. And I started giving her, like, he has to be this and this and this and that.
Yes.
And that was it. And I was like, Sharon, why are you asking me this question? Like, I mean, hello, I can see that you are gay, you know. And I was like, what about Mama and Papa? Like, they all know. I mean, hello. Come on, relax. We all know. I'm grateful that I come from that background. My family is very open-minded and very supportive, you know. So, yeah.
That's amazing. You know, I relate to that story about your grandmother. I think my grandmother, even though she said it in the most crassest ways, she's like, I'm like, grand. You know, but I think I was so shocked at the fact that she would know what that means, you know. And I was like, girl, you know what this is, Mos. This is not just, it didn't just come, you know.
And then also because, you know, when you are young, you are free. Like I can see from, you know, Banaba, my younger sisters, and they like playing with girls, not saying they are
gay or anything. No.
But as a child, you play with anyone. You know,
very true.
You are just being free. So me being free, it was also with the personality, the soft voice, the way I walked.
Yes.
Like everything was very, you know, pamparas and flamboyant. You know, so I was like, oh, okay, an obvious case, open book. you know? Yeah.
I think you're right. I think prejudice is something that is taught. Like kids get taught to hate people, you know, because I don't think it's the same thing with racism. You can have black kids that hang out with white kids, you know, but the moment somebody makes them aware that those people, that you're different, then therein comes the prejudice, you know. And that's a very important thing. And it leads to my next question to really just ask about prejudice. And I ask about prejudice because to a lot of us who are members of the LGBTQIA plus community, we experience a lot of that on our daily basis. And I tend to remind people that it's not just the physical that is prejudice. You know, it is the small little comments that people make. It is the microaggressions that people are able to say to you that really kind of push you in deep to not even want to embrace who you truly are. So I'm very keen to really find out, you know, what are some of the prejudices throughout your life that you've experienced. And I would really love it if you can take us through different incidences that I could just like be like, yo. Yeah.
All right. Like as I said, I used to play a lot with girls. Like I was a star in most of the female games.
Yes.
And like there will be boys coming to watch me play with girls, and they will say, "Amstel onale kukuli pipi." What's the about things like that?
Yeah.
And they'll start calling me those names, Butrasi and all that. Sebudi.
Yo,
you know? And those things actually made me very angry, you know, because also is that time of self-discovery, you know. And then the only tools, or if I can say, ways of trying to defend myself in terms of defense mechanism, I used to fight a lot and make it trapa.
Yo.
Yeah,
ask about the way when it's don't repeat it. Yeah.
Until I realized that, you know what, I'm still fighting is not a way to go, you know, because then at some point I started, you know.
Yeah, a lot of anger.
Accepting and understanding that, you know what, this is constantly happening. And if I'm gonna be that, I'm still about all the time.
Yeah, it's just gonna be, you know.
And stuff like that. Then I started avoiding, you know, fighting, you know. And because I was very vocal and open to my parents, like I'll go home crying, "Oh, Mama Barakatrasi," and they say this and this and that. And then at some point, parents will just go and try and, you know, put them in order and stuff like that.
Yes.
But it continued like that.
For many years.
Yeah. I remember at high school, there was a point where I couldn't even go to a male's toilet because I was victimized.
No.
Like whenever I go to the bathrooms, they'll want to see if I pee standing or sitting down, you know. I reported that to my teacher. Most of the time, if I wanted to, you know, pee to pee, I would go to
like the bushes somewhere.
Exactly.
Oh,
the opposite
my God.
house from the school, you know, because they get in the township. So that's how bad it was. But I was fortunate enough because of the guys at that point who were my friends will sometimes stand up for me and fight on my behalf. So I had a very strong team, you know.
That actually touched my heart, eh?
But at some point, and in most ways, I feel those situations, they made me stronger. I'm untouchable today.
Yeah.
Getting next skill.
I love that. Yeah. You know, the most amazing thing about that, I'm able to relate to your story about the bathroom. It's so touching to me because it's those vulnerable places where we have to feel safe, but we're not safe. I mean, kibatla toilet, I just want to pee. You know, and if I'm getting to the toilet, then the first thing I have to deal with people who are gonna harass me. Like I could relate to that story because, like, I remember when I was in high school, like I was harassed constantly every day at school, like physically. Like I'd get beat up. I remember one time this one guy just beat me up and he pushed me into the toilet and I fell to the toilet seat and my lip cracked. And it was such a very difficult thing because I had to stay because I was so embarrassed. First of all, I'm embarrassed that I'm beat up, like you know, and I'm not gonna come out of this. My lips are bruised and people are gonna be like, "What's wrong with you?" You know. So for example, I'd stay longer in the toilet just to avoid just going outside. Like imagine the whole break, I would not enjoy myself. Sometimes I'd be so scared, I would go pee in the bushes. Like literally.
Or sometimes even wait to check if there's anyone
there so
run
you
into
can run into it without them.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how bad it was.
That is That is crazy, you know, like, and it's so funny because when we have this conversation, it just truly shows that it does happen to a lot of us.
Exactly.
It really, really does happen to a lot of us.
And also, you know, I was that active boy at school. Like, I would participate, whether it be a school choir, sports, like your rugby, you know, cricket. So I remember there was a point where they had to select 2 active students from each and every school around Pretoria.
Yeah.
And I was also selected. So there was a trip to a place called Ninja. It was like a camp. So for like, I think, weekend away. So when I got to a Ninja, obviously my voice, you know, was selling me out.
Yeah, you know.
My movement,
where
you know,
just
because
like,
I was always free, you know. I've always been very free about myself.
Yeah.
So I remember there was an incident the first night at the sleeping rooms.
Yo.
Like, we'll sleep like 50 of us in a room.
Yo.
And it was single beds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So immediately when the lights went off, I remember 2 guys came on top of me. After the 2 guys, another 2 came on top of me. I was suffocating. I was screaming to a point where I couldn't even breathe.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know whether that was planned, because the only thing I could hear was like, or something like that, you know? But there was never penetration. But all that act was very bad.
Invasive.
And in the morning, it was reported. I was embarrassed for some reason, of which I was not supposed to
be, yeah, because you were violated.
Because, I mean, really, I was
you're
humiliated,
yeah,
and it was a bad
violated.
experience. So everybody was talking about me at that trip, and it was like bad, very bad.
Yeah. It just made the whole experience uncomfortable.
I remember the next day, they had to get a single room for me.
Oh, wow. Because you just couldn't stay there. Yeah. I'm so glad. Thank God for them for doing that. Because being in an environment and staying in such an environment, like, it doesn't end well. Yeah, it doesn't end well. And things that we take for granted.
Exactly.
And I think being able to pick those things up is such an important thing. Very, very, very important. I want to talk about, you know, being in schools and in the education system and having to go to school. We go to school because we want to feel safe. It's part of the system. You know, we go and we get our education and we go home. Very often when we get to that schooling system, we don't necessarily have a safe environment for us to be able to learn, because not only are we getting bullied by other children, not only are we also getting bullied by the teachers. Is there certain things that you felt could have been done better in the schooling system during your time to make it safer for people who are members of the LGBTQI?
Also, I think it depends, you know, because we, as the queer people, we are different, you know. We've got your masculine type of a gay. You can't see anything, you know. You got your Amstels, you know, that gets bullied, maybe because they are feminine. And I think if I have to turn the hands of time, the system, you know, we have assembly, you know.
Yes,
we have assembly, and also it starts by reporting. If you report, we have to be vocal, we have to talk.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't know until you talk,
yes.
you know.
Yeah.
So by being vocal and talking about it, making them aware that this is what is happening, and then obviously the principal or the teacher will have a way of making sure that things are done correctly. You know. So what I can say today now, the system should be, these things needs to be addressed, and they need to be addressed like publicly, so in the
people
assemblies,
can know,
they can know
in the
that
public.
if you
so
do this and this to this kind of a particular person, this is what is going to be done to you. You know, exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that, because very often people think, I just told my mom, and then they went to the corner, they told the principal, it's not enough.
It's not enough.
Yeah, because it just makes the matter also small when it's actually bigger, because there are other people who are also silencing, who don't have a voice.
I mean, the recent cases, there was a young boy who was actually raped at school.
Oh, wow.
2 guys raped him. The boy who was raped, he's a younger boy, and the one that raped him is older than him with the other one. So they had a knife, and then forced him to take off his pants, and he was raped. And then we don't know what led to that. Maybe it was an ongoing thing. Maybe they've been, pursuing to do that for a long time, and he didn't talk about it, So I think when you start seeing signs like that, talk immediately. Tell someone, tell your teacher, tell your parent, tell your brother, tell somebody at home that this is what this person said to me. We must never take things lightly, because the results might not be good.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that, because it gives us a sense of reality.
Exactly.
And we're able to see some of the things that really do happen to us. And very often people tend to not want to take it seriously because it's us. We're also victims of a lot of things within our community, that people exert that kind of violence towards us. It's really, really painful. I'm very interested to know, a lot of queer people have a passion and a drive to be in this industry. A lot of people love it. They love the glitz, the glamour, the clothes, honey, the beauty of it all. It's beautiful, I want to know, had you always aspired, and what really actually inspired you to want to enter into this industry?
I grew up from a Shebeen house.
Wow. That is so interesting. I grew up from
a Shebeen house, and music has always been part of me, And Khonali, stoop, we call it a stoop, like a little staging.
Yes.
So I would always rehearse the songs, Sabo, Tracy Chapman, Brenda Fassie, and I remember every Sunday I would stand up on that stoop. It was my little stage, and start singing those songs in front of the patrons. And then now it started being a show. Every Sunday they knew that Amstel would be performing. And then they'll be giving me money. So Monday, pocket money. So I think that was a rehearsal of what I am today. And I've always known, so it is part of talent. Talent has got many ways of showing itself and coming out, so I've always been that.
Wow. Yeah. That for me is amazing, because it just makes me feel so good about the time when I was young, and I was like, I don't know how old, 10, and I put on my mom's dress, and I was just there like, mimicking all these artists, and I'm just like, I was playing around.
That is why I always, when you see talent, nurture it, water it from the young age. It's very important.
Wow.
I mean, you can see, when there's certain things that pay attention to those things.
Yeah.
Mukrele kataranyana.
Yes.
Mukrele microphone nyana. Then nurture it. See where it goes. Build it.
Wow. The next thing
it's not always about education. Education is very important, yes, to go to school.
Very true.
But also nurture the talent that you see in your child, or anybody in your family, or wherever you can see. If you've got a potential to groom it, do it.
I love that so much. I really love that so much, because I said to someone recently when I was having a conversation with them over the weekend, and I said, ho monate o ba le motho a leng gay in your family, because we
exactly.
We rise. Like, if it's going to be like, I have this feeling that one day we're going to get to a point where having a queer person in your family is like glorified. Like, if you don't have it, it's like weird. It's like, oh my God, you don't have it. Like, no shade in your, like, there's no vuma, no drama in your family.
Exactly.
Because we make everybody rise. Whatever. We just give them that thing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I love that.
We bring everybody together. There's laughter. There's so much. When you've got a queer child in your home, those who are homophobic, they don't know what they're missing.
No, they don't know what they're missing. They don't know what they're missing out. If you're going to be a homophobic family member, it's a bit rough and tough, my darling. So, I mean, we've spoken about a lot of dark things that really have happened. I mean, the stories that you've shared about, you know, that young child getting raped as well, and also how
I was not raped.
Not you, no, the young child that got
yes.
raped. Not you, no, the young child that got raped as well. And also you spoke about, you know, being teased and being called names in school, which are very traumatic things that do happen, you know. And I think very often when we think about those things, they lead to mental health issues.
Exactly.
You know, and I want to talk about mental health in itself as a subject matter. And really get to the point of it, because very often in the black communities, it's something that we don't talk about. You know, very often, you know, we like to think, hey, it's witchcraft, it's something else, you know, because we don't really have an understanding of it. And I want to ask, have you dealt with mental health, and how did you deal with it when you were actually going through it and that particular time in your life?
Lucky enough, I never had any mental issues because from the support that I had from my family, and also self-acceptance, because I believe self-acceptance sets you free for so many things. Because when you start loving yourself, like as I said earlier on, everything else is just like,
it just starts flowing.
So I never had to experience mental health issues whatsoever. Only when I was trying to be comfortable with myself before I could actually accept myself, then I had a serious problem, you know, because there was a point where I used to be alone in most cases, because I'm like, ish,
I can't hang out with these people, you know, I just separate myself and be very inclusive and not want to spend time with a lot of people. Then until I said enough is enough, this is where I am, and let me approach the world. You know, freely so. And then that moment, I was free from everything else. You know, that's beautiful. I mean, I think,
but mental health issue is a very serious issue, and it's very much alive. And if anyone is going through that, my advice to them is, you know, speak to someone else. There's always an aunt who's ready to listen.
Definitely.
You know, there's someone that you are very close to. Speaking out heals. You know, when you speak, you heal. You know, and you don't necessarily have to, you know, come out, because not everybody has. You are not forced to come out, but speak. There has to be someone, that one person, even if it's not a family member, a friend that you are very close to, speak, and you'll be free. You know, coming out is a choice. And we're not forcing people to come out. You don't have to if you don't feel like. It's okay. But just know that loving yourself and being free with who you are, that is the best thing ever.
It is. I think there's power in that, because you get to live in your truth.
Exactly.
You get to live in your truth. I remember when I was young, when I was growing up, you know, because, you know, TV was such a huge part of our lives, you know, national TV, and it was something that we really kind of enjoyed, you know. And every time whenever I would switch on the TV, I mean, I think at the time we used to see Tresam, you know, I think on like Seluma Tunzi at the time was popular, you know, because like they would have the feature the segment, Tinyana vibes there, and then you would see you know, and at my house, like when we would watch TV, like, you know, it'd always be like the family would have an awkward moment of looking at each other of like, yo, give a mama, somebody gets they're wearing the cuts, the revealing clothes and whatever, and you know, it would just be but I remember just beaming with light. Like I was in awe, because I was like, wow. Like, you're so different, so much hope, so much glimmer of hope in my eyes. I was so young, I didn't understand myself. I was going through a time where I was also trying to figure out who I am, how to navigate through life. And yet here are these people on TV.
Very free.
Flamboyant as hell. And then they are they're with the stars. You know, and I thought to myself, and even when people would compare me, they'll be like, yeah, I'll try to look you know, and I'd feel bad, but something deep inside of me would be like, but damn, they are living. You know, I'm seeing them on my TV, they are living. And I think for me, that was such an inspirational moment. I mean, did you guys know at that time that you were inspiring a generation of young queers?
Honestly speaking, at that time, we're not aware. We're just being ourselves, free. If you ask me if I'm gay, I will say I'm gay. And that time, that's what media wanted, because there were so many people who were very afraid to come out. And there was that shortage in South Africa or Africa as a whole.
Yes, yes.
For people talking freely about who they are and being themselves. And boom, threesome came in.
Yes.
You know? And we were not aware that we were breaking boundaries at that time. But then came a point when we started being all over, like tent musician, because we started as Dirurubeli after we won the Social Butterflies.
Oh.
Before we became threesome.
As
the music
group.
you
Yes,
know?
yes. And what is the Rubela, by the way, if you can explain?
Dirurubeli is butterflies.
Yes, yes.
Butterflies. That was inspired from the award that we won from the Dugu Dugu Award.
Yes.
Social Butterfly Award. So we ran with the name. So we had a song, Butterfly, Butterfly, Ridururubele.
Oh my
hey.
God.
You know, because they gave us the Social Butterfly Award. So we did a song, Butterfly.
Butterfly.
Yes.
I love that. And butterfly is such a beautiful symbol for the community.
It is.
Love it. It's beautiful. It's blooming. It's about becoming who you truly are.
Very colorful.
And colorful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we were not aware until then we started getting bookings and, you know, going out of Johannesburg. Then we met a lot of young queer people who would be coming to us. We're like, guys, you are such an inspiration. We look up to you. You are doing great. And we're like, oh, okay. We didn't understand the power of media then.
Yeah.
We didn't at all.
Wow.
Today, because of social media, you can see.
Yes.
Because of social media is very powerful.
Yeah.
But then, being on the newspaper, on television, because that was the only medium.
Yes.
And we're not even aware that how powerful that was.
Yes.
We'll go to Mpumalanga. For some reason, we forgot that these people see us on television. Like, literally, there will be group of people rooting and jumping for threesome and calling us with our names. And we're reminded, oh, okay, we sometimes come on TV, you know, we're on the newspapers. Then we started realizing the impact and the power that we have for the queer community.
Yes.
And then we capitalized on that.
It, yeah.
Each and every interview, we're very vocal about who we are,
Yes.
our sexuality.
Yes.
We're very open. We didn't shy. And that by doing that, we're inspiring a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that today it shows, you know.
Yeah.
It shows,
I mean, hey.
hence we are the first openly gay group in Africa.
In Africa, you are.
Threesome.
You
So
are.
that is our legacy.
That is your legacy
Yeah.
forever. One
May
day.
Koyo and Jeffs,
Oh,
so rest
so
in
rest
peace.
in
They've
peace.
done so much.
Yeah. I mean, that for me, I think queer history is going to be a subject. I know it, and trust me, it sounds so far-fetched right now, but it's going to be it's going to be a subject, and I think it's going to be beautiful to have you and threesome be part of that history, because it was instrumental in my life. Like I'm grateful for it because it played that got it just that glimpse of just that piece of light.
And I'm also grateful that you know, the braveness that we had. I think it was only God
guys,
who gave us that.
Right?
Kimudimo.
Yeah, cause no way.
Because
guys,
that
2000s.
That
early.
time it was
No.
even more dangerous than it is now to
Yes.
be gay and open.
You.
Because there were instances and times where we'll have friends who were still in the closet and they'll say, yo, we don't want to be seen with you guys because everybody knows that you are gay. It's very risky for us because, you know, it's very dangerous. We can be killed from where we come from. I remember we went to KZN. When we got to KZN, that was like, then it was like the worst.
Yeah.
Ingongoni, Istabani was like,
Wow.
and we went there with this attitude.
Yeah.
There were other queer group, but closeted. When they saw us, they ran.
Yo.
And we didn't know that was not the area to be free, but we were free as hell. You know what happened?
Yeah.
The guys were coming to us.
They were coming to us.
You know, so we're changing things. We're changing because also it's about the energy that you
are giving
taking
and
out,
receiving and taking
you know?
out. Yes.
Exactly. So
Wow.
we went there without knowing, we're fearless and
You did your thing.
they were like, how did you do it? He's like, what? We didn't do anything. We are not acting. We're just being ourselves.
Yeah. I'm not acting more. This is us. There's no time
There's
for
no
acting.
That is why I don't like this term. Yeah. There's not only straight acting. When you can be yourself. Nonsense.
I love that. I despise it. I despise it.
Anyway, continuing actor.
Yeah, masculine presenting, but straight acting. How na acting? Motadi, sexuality,
exactly.
Identity. However, girl,
straight
you can't
acting.
be doing that. You know? No.
How many generations actor? You know, because must act straight. Why are you acting when you can be yourself? Nonsense.
I love it. So listen, being in a group, in a drama, you know, group, you know, the Destiny's Child, different kinds of groups that have come, you know, boom, shaka, different kinds of group, different areas. Being in a group is not easy. Was there ever moments of conflict within just the three of you during your time of that era, the performer, lady gigging, whatever, or during those different times, you know? And it's okay, it happens. It's a group of people who all have their individual personalities, even within a group. And conflict is bound to rise.
You know, with us, I think we were very lucky and groomed because before threesome, we were friends with Bolebo Matosa,
yes.
Brenda Fassi.
My cousin.
So we saw the way they were doing things.
Yes.
We had an opportunity to be with them backstage, before stage, you know. How they used to deal with media, negative publicity and all that. So the egos within the group, we went in understanding and knowing.
Yeah.
So there was a time where we had to sit down, like, guys, we are individuals. Obviously, as a group, when we go out there, each and every one of us will have this fence. There will be some fans rooting for Koyo. Some will be rooting for me. Some will be rooting for you, Jeff. So let's not take this thing personally.
Yeah.
It works to our advantage as a group. At the end of the day, it's threesome. I must not say when I see that people are rooting more for Koyo than start having jealousy or no. It works to advantage because it's threesome at the end of the day.
Yes.
So those are some of the things that we had to, you know, clear up before everything.
Yeah.
The fights, yes, were there. We're fighting because of the boys. We're fighting because of,
doesn't get more gay than that, darling.
Most of the times we were together. Then now, because of the fame and everything, there was a lot of entourage in our life. And I was always vocal about being professional all the time. Guys, this is our work. These people, they've got their work. They go to the offices. When we go to work, at least let's invite 2 or 3 friends, not the entourage. You know, let's respect our work.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, those small little things, and maybe one will be like, I'm going to invite my friends. And, you know, there will always be drama with the promoters because we didn't want to come across as those divas who creates problem when we get to the show. Now we've got like the whole entourage with us, and now we have to, you know, get the tags for
20,000 people
unnecessarily. And you know, those kind of things, as a group, because now the promoter won't want to do anything with you ever again. You know, so those small little things, we used to fight about. But when we get on stage, it's like out of stage.
Give. Snap on and snap back.
But we never had like your physical fights, never.
Wow, that's beautiful. I love that. It's genuine. It's really, really genuine.
My name is Sebudi. I identify as a gender non-conforming lesbian. My pronouns are she, they, them, he, hey. You will never be able to misgender me because gender is a construct that means absolutely nothing to me. And so as a gender non-conforming lesbian, that's exactly what it means. I am assigned female at birth, and I love women, and I love the feminine in all their fabulosity. And I do not conform. I refuse to conform, and so that's what that means.
I mean, we mentioned you know, back in the days, they hang out a little label, my toes, the stars. No, no, not no go. I couldn't. Who need the vibes?
Well,
you know?
that era it was the best era ever. You know, people were very real, very real.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
They've taught us so much about the business industry. You know.
Yeah.
And nearly batho ba le ba batho. They were people's people, you know.
Yes.
And when today, the stars of today is about me,
social media followers,
you know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is in the industry, because
Yeah.
now I've got 4.5 million followers. Then you are nothing. I don't think it has to be like that. It's good. It's okay. Business-wise, good.
Yeah.
Following, but it doesn't have to make you now look down on others and feel like you're on top of the world.
Yeah.
You know, what I've seen and realized about this industry is a never-ending circle. You know, it's a never-ending circle. We are happy for you, and attitude is either you've got a good attitude or a bad attitude. I always say bad attitude stinks, and it will never take you anywhere.
I love that. There's a lot of things that happen within the industry. I mean, I'm very keen to find out how the industry treated you guys then. You know, I mean, we've spoken about promoters as well. I mean, really in terms of like the industry, when we had to go to interviews, when we had to do certain things, or were there events that you were being blocked away from at that time or denied access to at that time? Because I know these things happen, you know. And I mean, at that time, there was not a lot of queer visibility.
Yeah.
And here are these three gays. When you go to an event in Yarena, I mean, imagine you know, and we're going to take over. It's just going to be like, there's going to be a whole lot of conversations that need to happen in order for you to be able to penetrate that.
Yeah.
And it's because of people like you who have made that possible for us to be able to do that today. So I'm very keen to understand, how did the industry receive you during that time?
Okay. There were sorry. So much has happened, good and the bad. You know, we came into the scene as a force.
Yeah.
Remember when Trisam came into the scene?
Yeah, it was shook the tables. I still look at the magazines
So
and
it
the
was
stuff
like
till now.
shift the tables, you know, and people were never ready.
They were not, eh?
The celebrities of that time were never ready. They never saw threesome coming.
Yeah.
So when we came in, it was like a volcano.
Yeah.
Step aside.
Yeah.
You know? And there were instances or situations where like someone will book us, a promoter will book us. And we get to an event, a partner will say, you know what, I think it's not safe for threesome to go on stage. In fact, they're not going to go on stage. We are going to pay them, but they're not jumping on stage.
Wow.
Those kind of things, we used to clear them now and here. We're like, no, senor. It's not always about money. We want to be on stage. We're pushing our career. Give us the reasons why we're not supposed to be on the stage. No, guys, we are scared on your behalf because we don't know how people are going to react and blah, blah. And say, okay, now watch and wait and see how people are going to react. Don't scared
assume
for us.
people, yeah.
No, it's not only for you guys, but for our event, because now things can turn out another way around. So it's like, okay, hold on. Give us the microphones. We jumped on stage. People asked for more. When we jumped out of stage, people were asking, we want some more. The very same promoter who said, guys, I think you are not going to perform anymore, but we're still going to pay, will be begging us to jump on stage. And we said, no, unless you pay us double, then we can jump on stage.
Exactly.
You know?
The money.
So people in most times they have fear of unknown, you know. Give people a chance.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So there were those cases and scenarios whereby, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I never knew.
Because we are gay.
Yeah, because you're gay. And that's horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, that
then
happens
we had
a lot.
to push. We had to fight like soldiers.
Yes, to get through and penetrate and get them to take you serious.
Yes.
Here, I recently quoted and I said, guys, we don't always have to survive. we just have to live.
Yes.
You know? And I think very often, especially the Nadi queers, like, because of the way society is set
constantly
up,
have to push. Never
survival.
allow people to step on your toes.
We can't.
Exactly.
Like, we really...
Because of your sexuality.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Never.
And that was the thing. I just said to us, we just need to start living life and go forward and really brace for the things that are about us. I mean, we never found out why the group broke up. I mean, why did the group break up, actually?
We actually didn't break up. It's a pity, you know. Death had to cut everything short.
Yeah.
But I believe that was, you know, a journey or time that threesome was supposed to be in this world.
Yeah.
And I'm continuing as I'm still dramatic diva.
Yes.
And then I feel and believe that the whole experience that I had with threesome was like a preparation and rehearsal of what I'm doing today.
Yes.
And it gives me more power when I'm on stage because whenever I'm on stage, I can feel energy, Koyo and Jeff, around me. Because when I perform my songs, I always open up a stage with threesome song, Vulindlela.
Yes.
And automatically, I see them. I feel their energy.
Yeah, that's painful. I'm even getting emotional because it's just like so beautiful. It's so heartbreaking because the three of you are not here together. You know, it would have been lovely to actually get to interview the three of you today.
That energy.
Like that energy. I would be dying.
I miss them all the time, you know. But I'm grateful that we have music that is there. I hear their voices, you know. When I'm listening to any song of threesome, I vividly remember the moment when we were recording that particular song, you know?
Yes. Wow. I mean, you have lost a lot of people throughout your life, you know, not only in your professional capacity, but also in your personal life as well, you know. I'm very keen to find out, you know, how has loss impacted you, you know, and just living life every day, because it can be a lot. Because I've realized that when that person is cut from your life, it really changes a lot.
Exactly.
You know, it's not like, that person is gone, we're moving on, you know, let's go, we're marching forward. You know, it really changes a lot about your life, you know, in terms of where it can go, how you move now, because that person is no longer there. It's just very, very interesting. So I'm very keen to find out, how did loss impact your life?
It was very heavy on me. It still is, but I've accepted it.
Yeah.
So much has been taken away from me, you know, and it's a journey. It is a journey, and it's a lifetime journey.
Yes.
That one is for sure.
Yeah.
You know, losing loved ones is a journey. And, you know, and there will always be things that reminds you of that person, and you smile and, you know, thinking that when you were with that person, what was going to happen, you know? And sometimes it gives me strength knowing that I've got angels that are looking, you know, on me and, you know, giving me strength to move on because I believe in angels. So I've got so many angels, you know? Yeah. And, you know, the memories are always here, you know? So my life and my light is through them. Yeah. Wow. It's not easy. It's a lifetime journey. Yeah.
I love that.
Sometimes I cry, you know, the tears of joy that I'm grateful that I met those people and they were my friends, and, you know, we've done so much. We wanted to do so much, you know, and unfortunately, you know, time life. But thank you for being able to share that with us, you know, and understanding. You know, when you lose people that are very close to you, you feel like something in you is also going down with them. You know? Yes. It's a very painful experience.
It's so hurtful. That loss is not kind.
It's not kind.
It's not kind at all. You know, you're a multi-award winning artist. You've won many awards. You've mentioned that you've won the Tugu Awards. Maybe that's what the Tugu Awards really took back in the days. You know? And I think it's such an amazing thing. But also, you know, over just a few years ago, you got acknowledged by the Feather Awards as well. I'm very keen to find out, how did you feel to get that award, you know? And I think it's such an important award, and to also know that the Feathers are now a platform that exists, that are for us and are by us. And I think it's such an important platform on its own. And how did it feel to get that acknowledgement from the Feathers?
It was a beautiful experience. And I remember that moment vividly. I was like, you know, God, you do show your power in many ways.
Yes.
And by receiving that award, it was that moment that, in most of the times we like to question God, and we're wanting more, and more is what you have inside of you. It's not always about money,
Yes.
And when I received that award, I dedicated it to the late Goyo and Jeff, because it was through whatever that we did that made me receive that award.
Yes.
It was not only for me, it was for the three of us. The impact that we've, shown for the queer community, visibility, fighting for queer rights, equality, and being vocal about everything queer,
Yes.
So that was a defining moment, and it was very emotional.
Yeah.
And I was very happy
To be able to get to live
be
through
acknowledged.
that. Yes. I mean, we a lot of the times when we talk about sex within the community, it's something that people frown upon. And I just feel like, how are we supposed to learn, my dear, if you're not going to talk about it,
Let's talk about
Let's talk about sex, baby.
Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things.
Oh my gosh, I know, you're just taking me back. Oh, that's just a vibe. I love that. That's legit going to be cut into something. That was beautiful. So yeah, listen, sex is something that's so frowned upon in this community. And also because people hypersexualize, because they just think the gays, sex, that's it. And they never want to put a human experience to us, And I think I genuinely just want to ask, I mean, you're somebody who has lived longer and you've experienced sex. And what advice would you give the younger generation, especially in the hookup apps, quick, I want to, no, so fast,
No.
Keep back to me, keep weeding, no. That's literally the generation that we're living in right now. And what advice would you really give them?
Sex is beautiful.
Yes.
Sex needs to be enjoyed, but also you need to be safe. Play it very safe.
Yes.
More especially with these apps. Be very careful. I always advise my friends who are on the app that, I think that sometimes when you invite somebody over to your house, try and make sure that at least another friend is in the house, even if they're in another room or somewhere, even if they can be in the car. If you've got a bachelor,
that's good advice, yes.
Be in a safe space, because we are inviting criminals into our house. We don't know who we are inviting.
Wow.
So they're using these
apps
to get to us, because you're thinking sex, you don't know what their intentions are.
Because even the app does not verify that.
It's very dangerous, it's very dangerous.
Yeah.
Very, very dangerous. Yeah. So be careful out there.
Yeah,
Be
I love
careful.
that.
Yeah.
I love that advice of
we are actually inviting criminals into our
home.
house.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you're saying that have somebody, I mean, they do that thing of like send the person your pin so they can know, but when you're inviting somebody into your house, it's very important to know who, because that thing doesn't vet.
Yeah.
There's no vetting process as to who really gets it. I can just be anybody, and just put a profile,
so
a picture.
the criminals free access.
Yo, I don't know for furniture, how it finished,
Exactly.
no clothes,
Yeah.
no nothing. Yo, but I'm very keen to find out, how do people hook up back in the days? Because the apps, and back then in the closet agenda, and the closet thing, very intense, protecting the images vibes.
Funny enough, I've always jolat or dated straight guys.
Really?
And that has always been my thing. It has always been my thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I love that.
And they were approaching. And sometimes if I feel like now I see a gorilla, I see a hunk and I approach. And in most times the response will be, Wozala, it's okay, because I was not afraid. As much as it can also be dangerous, but also the manner of approach is everything.
Yes.
So I think I'm blessed with the way I approach the situations and things, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it has always been the straight guys.
Really?
But what I can say, dating a straight or bi-curious and straighting or dating a gay person,
yes.
there's a huge difference.
Yeah.
The straight guys, there's always a mission.
Yeah.
There's nothing serious there. So don't even
bother and think it's something serious. Yeah.
But if you want to satisfy yourself, do it because you want to satisfy yourself. But in most cases, they always want something from you.
Yeah. And it's not marriage.
Forget about marriage, guys. Just forget it.
I said, just get
Bona
there
batla
and go.
But there's nothing serious there.
Yeah.
The only time when I can freely and confidently say I was in love or I was in a relationship is when I dated a gay guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
We could walk on the street hand in hand. We could kiss anywhere. We could go anywhere. But my longest relationship was, I don't know if I should say straight guy or bi-curious, because when I was in a relationship with that guy, I was staying with him at my house.
Wow.
His friends never knew where he stayed. We never went out together. Wow.
Yeah.
But for me,
he was your
he was my lover, he was my
hunk.
hunk, he was my everything.
Yes.
You know, he was very handsome. He was a Nigerian guy.
Ooh.
So also with him, it was like, oh, you know, baby, the stigma and, you know, my people, you know, is like an African to be gay or, and I always ask him, baby, are you gay? No, I'm not gay.
Yeah.
But I do have feelings for you and I want to be with you.
Whoa.
You know,
I'm
attracted to you.
Hey.
You are my face.
You are what I want.
You are what I want.
Yeah, don't care about these people. If I am attracted to you, my dear.
So that was
it
was a bit tricky because we stayed together for 8 years. But when I look at it now, it was 8 years of fun, but also 8 years of a waste.
But
I enjoyed every
We never
moment.
built anything beyond
Yeah,
that.
because the ending was not beautiful.
Yes.
They would always go back to their girlfriends.
I see. Yeah.
I
And that's
need to-
heartbreaking.
it's
It's
heartbreaking.
you touch on such a beautiful point there, because sometimes people become so passionate with the idea of you, but not who you are.
Exactly.
Yeah. I like the idea of you, but do I really love who you are as a person? And I think that's a question that a lot of people need to ask themselves, especially when it comes to addressing us and who we are. You know, and very often, and it's always made me very upset because we get compromised in the long run. You know, we invest our emotions, we invest our time, we invest our money, we
have feelings.
So
We're
we
human
do.
beings.
We're human beings.
Yeah.
We're not just somebody's sexual fantasy that can just come when you're going to experience her for just that time. You can just call me when you
I
need
like
me.
when you say Obatong experience, because in most cases they're using gay people as the experiment. You know?
Yes.
So no, I not go in with that mentality.
Yeah, already, no.
You know.
How we go.
You know, and if it was serious, then magnetic connection will
connection will build
automatically
from
happen,
there.
and that's it.
But I think you're so right. It's
Yeah,
very
don't
important.
go deep, more especially with the straight guys or bi-curious guys. Don't go.
Too deep. They call them DL men now, you know, down low men.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, but we say the down low, you know. And so the down lows, you know, they're
down low.
They're down low. And they also deserve that kind of love and affection. If they're in the down low, just let them be there down low.
Exactly.
But when I understand who you are, don't let
Don't
them
expect
take you in the
much.
down low with you. Because I think sometimes
They can take you
they
down.
can take you down in the down low with them.
Exactly.
Now the next thing because Uberekile is so hard to be queer and
Then
proud,
you're gonna be low,
then
very
you're gonna
down.
be, you know, it's a bit rough and tough. Yo, guys, Norman, I relate to these things. All right, I think it's so important and so beautiful. You just mentioned that it was so beautiful just to get to experience love. But I'm very keen to find out, what does love mean to you? Yeah.
Love is a feeling, and a very beautiful feeling.
Yeah.
That comes from within,
Yeah.
deep down your heart. It doesn't have to hurt. Love doesn't make you cry.
Yes.
You know, it's something that you can spread. You know, you can love material things. You
Yes.
can love human beings. You can love animals.
Yes.
You know, so that is love.
I love that. That is love. You can spread it, darling, like butter.
Exactly.
We can all be eating it. I love that. It can be shared with lots of people.
Exactly.
And I think that's a beautiful thing because it cannot be contained. Love is a beautiful thing.
And it's very
It is a
unconditional.
beautiful, beautiful thing. I mean, I want to know right now in your life, are you at a happy place right now in your life?
I am in a super happy place right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that. There's a lot of internal homophobia that happens. I mean, we spoke a lot about, how a person can be feminine presenting and also be masculine presenting. Sometimes there tends to be a lot of phobia that happens within the community, where I feel just because you're feminine presenting, I don't want to be affiliated with that. It's a bit wrong. You're not, whatever, and there's a lot of all of that. And I'm very keen to get your opinion. What do you feel about internal homophobia, particularly within the community? Or you'll even get gay men who are feminine who say, but I trans this, no, whatever. That kind of internal phobias that happen within the community really are not okay for me, but I'm very keen to find out your opinion on that.
The internal homophobia is very real and much alive.
Yes.
And I think there's so many factors that influences that.
Yes.
And then I can safely say that in most cases, the heterosexual people or straight people, they've got so much influence
on that.
Yay. Because I believe when you are, for example, when you're a masculine gay and your straight friends sometimes, or they will say, you know what, Mfwethu, I like you.
Yeah.
I can see that you're gay. But
kind of
when
gay
you
I
are not like those ones that are too much.
What
is too much?
What is too much, darling?
What is too much
What
when
is
the
too
procedure is the same?
Yay. Well,
Bona,
same fight.
The procedure is the same
fight.
now.
Don't do this thing now.
You do me, I do you.
Yay.
Whether I've got lipstick or not, the procedure is the same. Because I can remove it. I can remove the nails, I can remove the lipstick, and
we can enjoy.
I can be hater, how's it that? So please, just let us be.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable the way I look. I am happy the way I look.
I love that.
My lipstick, my nails,
that.
my mascaras, my eyelashes.
Oh.
And then I also believe that also the transgenders, there's also politics and fights within them.
Within them, yes.
Because one trans feels like, I am more of a woman than another one. When now you are not too trans.
Casting, that's what they call it, yes.
That's bad.
That's bad. It's really horrible. Don't do those things.
I mean, really, these things are taking us back.
Yeah.
We fought for the equality and the freedom that we have today.
Yo.
And then all this femme bashing and eternal homophobia and all those things, they're really taking us back.
Yeah.
You guys must stop it. It's not a nice thing at all.
Yeah.
I mean, we all fall under the same umbrella. There's this thing, one letter thinks that is superior than the other letter.
Hey.
Guys, we are under the same umbrella.
Yeah.
Why can't we be one?
Ace.
Unity is what we are,
Yeah.
The way we attend the gay pride and it becomes full and very nice and bambaras and all that. I so wish that energy can be the energy that we
carry
unite
out
with
into society as
every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because also is a constant thing that we have to do as a community to educate the straight people about who we are, because they don't understand.
Yes.
Immediately when they come to you and say, I can see that when you are gay and you are dating another guy,
Yes.
but you are not too much. Cut them immediately. There's nothing wrong about I'm still wearing a lipstick.
You don't say
Stop
those
it right there. I'm still comfortable the way he is. Okay, and we are different. Let me teach you right now. We've got the trans, we've got the masculine, we've got the feminine.
Yes. Different.
Teach them. Don't take the negativity or be influenced, because they tend to believe it and they tend to turn against us. That's what leads to
divide and conquer, darling.
Exactly.
It's what divide and conquer.
Because you believe it.
Yeah, divide and conquer. Because if we are divided, they can take us down.
Exactly.
But when we are united, they can't do anything to us, darling. Ha! This is where we're going live. But listen, just we're going to be wrapping it up in about a few. I'm very keen to just find out, are you looking at exploring? I mean, you mentioned you're in a relationship for a very long time.
Yeah.
Are you looking at exploring getting into, getting married one day, starting a family? Is this something you've thought about, darling? Because it's a beautiful thing. But I also realized that with this question, it's not everyone's reality. Some people are like, in my plans. But if it is in my plans, then let's go.
Let me tell you something. You've just answered me. It's not part of my plan. I mean, I said earlier on, I was in a relationship for 8 years. I mean,
you could have, during that time, gotten
8 years.
Yes.
It's a lifetime.
That's a lifetime,
So if marriage comes, then why not? With the right person, right space, and we feel each other and there's love, why not?
Yeah.
But I'm not like, I am not married, I'm frustrated. No, I'm not frustrated at all.
No, darling.
I am content and very happy, super happy.
Yes. What do you think about all the visibility that's happening right now in the media? Because I want these TV shows. Hey, go to all of the TV shows, but the queers, the giving, go to the roast, get the teachers, the gigs. What do you think about the visibility?
I am
Is
super excited and happy for them, and always rooting for them. Because that's what we were fighting for.
Very true.
That's what we were fighting for, and when I see it happening, I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We are winning, We are here. That's what I want to see, and more has to come.
What can we expect from Amstel in the near future? I think I'm so excited. For me, you said you have singles. Please talk about that, because what can we expect in the future?
The more they talk about me, the more they make me famous. The more they talk about me,
the more they
it's one of my singles that is out. It's called Famous.
I love that song. I love that song.
Thank you.
I love that song because I know
I've got Lethabo. It's also online on all digital platforms. Lethabo and Famous. Go and get it.
The more they talk about me,
the more
they make me famous.
The more they talk about me.
What would you like to say to young queer people out there who are looking up to Amstel and say, yo guys, Amstel the flames. This is how it's done, my darling. What would you like to say? And most of them really, right now during this time, are feeling discouraged rather. And they feel like there's a loss of hope. Maybe somebody somewhere there, but they're watching this episode, or somebody sitting in a small little township, or they're in some small town, and they're just thinking, I can never be me, I can never be happy. What words of encouragement would you give them just to really lift them up?
All I can say to you, a young queer out there who's still, in a box, it's okay to be yourself.
Yeah.
Love yourself, respect yourself, and just be happy.
Yes.
We spoke about so many things. Talk to someone.
Yes.
You don't necessarily have to come out, but talk to someone. There has to be that one person that you are very close to.
Yes.
But most importantly, love yourself and know that it's okay to be yourself.
Yeah. No, you heard it for yourself, everybody. I feel great. This was informative. Very informative. But listen, the show's not over yet until we play Who Would You Top Bottom of? All right, everybody, let's have a game here. We love it so much. It's really it's just an easer, it's a palate cleanser, and we're just doing the most. So this is how this game works. We're going to give Amstel 3 names, and Amstel has to decide who they top, bottom, or verse, honey. All right, okay, get over from Abito today.
Okay.
First name today, we've got Sizwe Dlomo. Ooh, interesting. And then we've got Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne. And then we've got Bonang Mathiba. Yes, we've got Bonang Mathiba right here, everybody. So you've got to decide between those 3 people. Who would you top, bottom, or verse? It's a very interesting game, but it's a fun game.
Lil Wayne. Definitely a bottom. Definitely a bottom, darling.
I'm finished. Okay, so you will definitely bottom or bottom. He's the bottom.
He's the bottom.
Yes. Okay. Which means you'll top him.
Anytime. Anytime.
That is so really. It's killing me. All right. And then who would you bottom for? So Caesar will be the top
Yes,
daddy,
anytime.
the toppy daddy, the
Anytime.
top daddy, top. Caesar will be
Anytime.
our top. All right.
Bonang,
And then
Kabodunuzela,
obviously
anytime.
Bonang, whatever is gonna be. I love this show. All right, and obviously the first is gonna go to Bonang Mthembu. Yes, gonna flash up our first vibes. Yes, no guys, this has been really lovely. I've enjoyed this conversation. It has uplifted me. It has humbled me. It has made me feel like I am on the right path. It has made me learn so much and realize that there are people who really did pave the way for us. And it is the reason why this show exists, because of people like yourself, you know, and what you did. And I will never, ever stop praising that, because I think it's so important for us to acknowledge our elders. And I'm somebody who, I respect my elders, and I think it's so important for us to suckle from their breasts and really take their knowledge and get, because they've lived longer and they've experienced certain things that we are probably yet still about to experience, you know. And if somebody can give you, so that what's up, you know, then you can be able to kind of see your way, you know, around any situation ahead of you. And I think, thank you. And we are gonna see you at the launch. It's gonna be stunning.
I can't wait.
Yeah, lovely,
Goodbye.
guys.
Goodbye.
Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.
Really
Thank you so
appreciate it.
much. Yeah.
All right, everybody, this has been the Queer Superhero Show. Yet another fantastic episode right here on YouTube with myself, MonD, the Queer Superhero. That was Amstel, Diva, a Grant, a lovely, a Slayer, our great ancestors. Acknowledge what our great lovely. Hold her back. Slayer and Ranyesa, my darling. Do make sure that you follow them on all their social media platforms, as well as making sure that you go on our social media platforms and follow the Queer Superhero Show. We'd really appreciate all the support. And remember to hit that notification button, baby. And also remember to love yourself in all shades. Bye bye.